Thank you, Rabbi Black, as always. The House will come to order. The pledge this morning will be led by Leah Dino, Samuel Fuentes, Brennan Kammerer, Simon Jeff, from Skinner Middle School, Denver, Colorado, guests of Representative Gonzalez Gutierrez.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
Mr. Randall, please call the roll.
Representatives Arndt, Baisley, Beckman, Benavides, Byrd, Bockenfeld, Buck, Buckner, excused. Buentello, Representative Buentello, Caravale, Carver, Catlin, Coleman, Cutter, Duran, Escar, Exum, Froelich, Galindo, Garnett, Geithner, Geithner, Gonzalez Gutierrez, Gonzalez Gutierrez, Gray, Hanson, Harrod, Hooten, Humphrey, Jackson, Jaquez Lewis, Kennedy, Kipp, Kraft-Tharp, Landgraf, Larson, Lewis, Liston, Montine, McCluskey, McKean, McLaughlin, Melton, Michelson Janae, Mullica, Neville, Pelton, Ransom, Rich, Roberts, Sane, Sandridge, Singer, Sirota, Snyder, Soper, Sullivan, Tipper, Tatone, Valdez A, Valdez D.
Good morning, Colorado.
Van Winkle, Weissman, Williams, Wilson, Madam Speaker Becker,
Excused. With 62 present, 2 excused, 1 vacant, there is a quorum is present. Representative Froelich.
Mr. Majority Leader, I move the reading of the Journal of Wednesday, February 20th, 2019 be dispensed with and approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
Thank you, Representative Froelich. That is a proper motion. You have heard the motion that the journal be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. No! The ayes have it. That motion passes. Members, we have a lot of people in the chamber today. We should welcome all of the students, but please keep your conversations to a minimum. Are there any announcements and introductions? Representative Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader. Good morning, everyone. Today is Higher Education Equity and Opportunity Day at the Capitol. I am pleased to introduce some of the guests on the floor, which include members of Colorado's Equity Champions Coalition. One strategy to unlock more equitable outcomes for students rests with this coalition. They are comprised of multi-sector, bipartisan key influencers representing each region of the state to serve as ambassadors for Colorado's focus on equity and reconnectors within communities of color. The coalition is here and available to talk about initiatives in their districts and to advocate for higher education and legislative opportunities to erase equity gaps.
Representative Larson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It was my honor today to go down and speak with my fellow representative here, Mr. Coleman. And if we could just take a moment to recognize some of the guests that are here for Equity Day. They're seated in the back row over there. Give them all a round of applause if we could. So, and yeah, take this opportunity to get some bipartisan solutions.
Thank you.
Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader, I think,
Speaker Pro Tem.
Speaker Pro Tem
for the
Tim.
very short moment.
for a short moment. Okay. Colleagues, I know that you're all visiting with your gifted and talented students, and we want to make sure that everyone knows that they're here. It's a pretty exciting day here at the Capitol. It's even more exciting because the hot dogs are going to be cooking here before very long. Sportsman's Caucus downstairs will start serving legislators at about 11:30. And we'll have the program in, I believe it's going to be in 107, I believe. We'll see you downstairs at noon. Thank you.
Representative Escar Valdez and Bunteo.
I'm bringing this down because y'all can move the microphone
We
up.
can move in.
Members, we want to introduce some very special guests who are in the gallery. Leadership Pueblo, thank you so much for being here, guys. We appreciate it every year.
Go Pueblo.
Representative Gray.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to welcome to the Capitol some folks from the Metro North Leadership Program, together with the Metro North Chamber of Commerce. Covers a pretty big area up in the Metro North area, so if you haven't had a chance to visit with them yet, they're here on the floor with us today, and it'd be great to say hello and meet some leaders from our community. Thank you.
Representative Melton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, today's Thursday, which means that tomorrow is the illustrious Bow Tie Friday. So please do wear your bow tie, your bolo, your ascot, your scarf, bring your baby, or whatever you can do to show our bipartisan spirit here in the chamber. Thank you.
Representative Liston.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, just a reminder that today up in room 357 of the noon hour is the Claw Caucus. For those of you who like your animals and your pets, come up and get educated. I forget what the exact topic is, but the Claw Caucus today at noon in 357. See you there. Woof.
Representative McLaughlin. Barbara.
Okay, I will. Can I make my education or should I do it all at once? Okay.
Representative McLaughlin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Education Committee, we're back again. We meet at 1:30 today. We are doing Bill 1171, Senate Bill 57, Senate Bill 69, and we can't wait to see you there. Thank you.
Representative Herod.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Finance Committee, we will meet upon adjournment, which is 10 minutes after we adjourn today. We will be hearing 1128, Craftharp and Thane. We will be hearing 1088, Buck and Valdez, and we'll be hearing 1145, Tipper and Jaquez Lewis. Be on time.
Assistant Minority Leader Van Winkle.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have two announcements, actually. First, the American Council of Engineers has a lunch today at noon at the Warwick. And then joining us in the House today are the emerging leaders from the Independent Electrical Contractors Association. So welcome these folks over here and up in the gallery, too. Welcome.
Representative Gonzalez Gutierrez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I just want to announce today we have some very special guests. Well, I have some very special guests coming straight to you from House District 4, from Skinner Middle School, our gifted and talented students here, 7 of them today. This is important to me because I also attended Skinner Middle School because I grew up in the same neighborhood as these young people, and I was also a part of the gifted and talented program. So I'm completely honored. So please recognize Skinner Middle School students here today from North Denver.
Representative Soper and Rich.
Oh, thank you, Madam Speaker. We just wanted to make an announcement this evening at from 5 to 7:30 at Stout Street Social. The Grand Junction Area Chamber of Commerce is sending over a delegation, and they're having a legislative reception. This is a really good opportunity to meet with Western Slope business leaders, and if you'd like to interact and hear what some of our issues are over on the other side of the divide or the best slope, please join us tonight.
Representative Rich.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to welcome the Grand Junction Area Chamber of Commerce to the House floor today. I represent House District 55, and this is my district, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Gosh, it is so nice to see so many people here on the floor and so many people here in the gallery. Welcome to everybody. But this particular message is just for the members of the Energy and Environment Committee. We will be meeting upon adjournment, just so that you know, so you can pull these bills now. We'll be hearing Senate Bill 83, 82, 80, 70, and 24. See you then.
Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, today we have the Health Caucus meeting in LSBA. Hope to see you there at noon. We'll be talking about the new Health and Climate Index. Thank you.
Representative Pelton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm down here this morning just to recognize some gifted and talented from the Northeast.
Representative Pelton, just a minute. Members, it's gotten loud in the chamber. We just want to be able to hear the announcements and introductions.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Again, I'd like to recognize some of the gifted and talented from the Northeast part of our state, and one of them is a son of Representative John Becker. So.
That is the lesser of the Beckers, we like to say. I'm just joking. Okay, Representative Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of the Rural Affairs and Agriculture Committee, we are meeting upon adjournment today. We have two bills, House Bill 1132, Buentello and Pelton, and House Bill 1162, Representative Pelton. See you there.
Representative Weissman.
Thank you, and good morning, Madam Speaker. A couple announcements. First of all, I'd just like to acknowledge my two gifted and talented student shadows today, Aiden and Kalina. Second announcement, members, you might have heard Madam Vice Chair Herod last night mention at noon in 271 there will be a meeting of the Corrections Capacity Working Group. We will have a detailed discussion of Senate Bill 143, which is an attempt to address some of these measures, and we'll have some discussion from some of the governor's staff as well. These are a number of important decisions that will be coming before all of us this year. Next and last announcement is that Judiciary will be meeting in 271 today. We are hearing one bill, House Bill 1177 at 1:30. Thank you.
Representative Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The State Veterans and Military Affairs Committee will be meeting at 1:30 today in LSBA to hear two bills, 1185 and 1056 for action only.
Representative McLaughlin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have a tribute today, and Mr. Randall, would you please read the tribute for us, please? Thanks.
The House of Representatives convened in the 72nd General Assembly hereby extends sincere commendations to International Tour Guide Day. Professional tour guides make a significant difference to the visitor experience in Colorado. They are responsible for helping people to visit unfamiliar areas and showing them important places or cities, particularly those visitors who are visiting Colorado for the first time. They are also an integral part of the tourism industry in Colorado, which, in 2017, welcomed 86 million visitors to our state, who spent $21 billion and generated $1.28 billion in tax revenue. Tour guides provide the personal connection between the visitor and the local population, site, or attraction. They truly provide frontline service to visitors, often going the extra mile in their efforts. The members of the Colorado House of Representatives are proud to recognize February 21st, 2019 as International Tour Guide Day, and we also thank the considerable contributions of professional tour guides to Colorado's economy, tourism industry, and environmental stewardship. On request of Representative Barbara McLaughlin, given this 21st day of February 2019, State Capitol in Denver.
Representative McLaughlin. Please
Thank you,
be
Mr.
seated.
You may be seated. Our friends are back in the corner there. If you guys could all give a little wave. we stuck them back there. There wasn't much room for them. These professionals bring millions of dollars into Colorado every year, and they show off our beautiful state to all the tourists. And because of them, they've really helped our thriving tourism industry, and we need to make sure we say thanks to all of them. So please give them a handshake, a wave, and a big, mighty thanks from all of us in Colorado. Thank you.
I have a couple announcements. Representative Byrd will replace Representative Buckner, and Representative Titone will replace Representative Michelson-Janae on Education Committee today only. And then Representative Duran will replace Representative Michelson-Janae on Public Health Committee on Friday, February 22nd only. And our next order of business is third reading of bills, final passage. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1106.
House Bill 1106, by Representatives Titone and Gonzalez Gutierrez, all Senator Patterson, concerning the rental application process for prospective tenants.
Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1106 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1106 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please vote. Representatives Gray, Jackson, Lewis, Mullica. Please close the machine. With 40 aye votes, 23 no votes, 1 excused, and 1 vacant, House Bill 1106 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over House Bill 1078 one day at the request of the sponsor.
Seeing no objection, House Bill 1078 will be laid over 1 day. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 42. Oh.
Senate Bill 42 by Senator Foote, also Representatives Sirota and Arndt, concerning adoption of an agreement among the states to elect the President of the United States by national popular vote.
Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 42 on third reading and final passage.
Representative Singer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I want to thank the students for being here especially, but the reason that I'm up here today is for one specific reason. One of my good friends was a presidential elector in 2016. He was designated as one of the Hamilton electors. He received that designation after he decided that he was not going to vote the way that the state of Colorado had voted. And so he faced a lot of pressure as a 24-year-old ex-Marine trying to vote his conscience, like the framers suggested. And so I felt like I needed to go back to the Federalist Papers and really see where the framers were at. And so I went to Federalist 68, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to tell you where I'm at today and why I support this bill. Is Federalist 68 talks about the Electoral College. It says the choice of several, which is in capitalized letters, to form an intermediate body of electors will be much less apt to convulse the community with any extraordinary or violent movements. The choice of one who has himself to be the final object of the public wishes, and as electors chosen in each state are to assemble and vote in the state in which they are chosen, this detached and divided situation will expose them much less to the heats and ferments which might be communicated from them to the people, and if they were all to be convened at one time in one place. The idea here is that we wanted people in one time, in one place, to be less apt to the sways of popular movements, to elect a popular despot, to elect through popular foments somebody who might have taken advantage of foreign interference. So my friend said, you know what, I'm not casting my vote for Hillary Clinton, I'm casting my vote for someone else. He was threatened and he was removed. So the purpose of the electors were to make these decisions free of influence, foreign or domestic, and he was removed from that. This bill does such an amazing job of bridging the gap between what some people believe should be a one person, one vote national popular vote, and what other people believe to be what the framers imagined, which was a college of electors, to be free from the outside influences, to be the last best hope for our democracy if all else fails. And when my friend, free of that outside influence, decided to make that decision, he was threatened with legal action. It was intimated that he would serve jail time. And so because of that, I believe our Electoral College is in trouble today. This bill is a way to save that Electoral College. For those of you who haven't read Federalist 68, it was written by Alexander Hamilton. And I know that a lot of people have been talking about ALEXANDER for a little while. And I had several constituents that said, you know, Jonathan, if we do this, Representative Singer, if we pass Senate Bill 42, you're going to be throwing away your vote. And I just want to say, I'm not throwing away my vote. I'm not throwing away my vote. I'm just like my district, chill, scrappy, and optimistic, and I'm not throwing away my vote. So today, I'm rolling with Sirota because she wants to stand with every voter. And if you aren't, it's time you listen to Arndt and Foote. You know the Electoral College has almost gone kaput, so I'm not throwing away my vote. So before this is all said and through, I encourage an aye vote on Senate Bill 42.
Representative Baisley, are you sure you want to follow up on that?
No, Madam Speaker, I am not in the least bit sure after that. Fellow members, the sentiment of this bill is one of fairness. I had a wonderful conversation just right after the vote last night with a valued fellow member, and it occurred to me then a very valid point that I wish I'd made last night, but I'll make right now. And that is that the sentiment of this vote is a matter of fairness, the one person, one vote fairness, but that has never been the intent of the founders, is let's be fair about this, but rather let us choose the best person to represent this nation as president and vice president. Fairness is socialism. Fairness was not considered when the original Constitution had this body, along with the folks down the hall, selecting the United States senators to represent us in each state. Now that was amended in the 17th Amendment, but it was amended for the sake of fairness to get a popular vote to choose our United States senators. I believe that was another error, and we're going down a similar path. It is not about fairness. It's about how do we represent the values of this entire nation to not get overrun by the tyranny of the majority. What this bill will do, I'll remind, is to assign the electors of the great state of Colorado to the majority opinion of the nation rather than the majority opinion of the state. And I'll just end with the last reminder. in the United States Constitution, Article 2, that begins in the vote of electors. The electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for 2 persons. We're ignoring that. I strongly urge a no vote on this bill. Thank you, fellow members.
Representative McKean.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you to my right honorable colleague for making, I think, the exact point. The reason that we have an electoral college comes from a time when emotions ran high, when we had people who saw a value in the trade relationships we had with Great Britain, when we had these splits between the Tories and the Whigs, when we had people fighting in the streets about what it was that we were going to do as a nation. And these conversations about where the Electoral College came from how do we make a decision best that is separate from those whims and those violences and those times when we could not come to an agreement as a people. I would posit to you today that this is that same time. I would tell you that the kinds of things we see on Facebook and the kinds of things that we hear being spoken about of, if you believe this, then I cannot talk to you. I would tell you that I think this is that same time where we are no longer having a conversation. We're messaging at each other. We're trying to figure out what it is that will sway you to our point of view. You're no longer, I think we do a better job here in this chamber, but we as a society are no longer valuing that breadth of opinion. What we end up doing is having these violences in our conversations among each other. The very exact reason why we do not want the whim of the populace, the tyranny of the majority, to dictate where we go with Colorado's electoral votes. Thank you, Representative Singer. I can't sing like you, if that was singing.
Some people call him rap singer instead of rep singer.
I believe we should just stop. I would ask you for a no vote on this bill today. Think about what we've heard. Think about the very thing that we're talking about here today. Go back 200 plus years. I don't think we're that much different. We had very wise people who put these things in place. Vote no.
Representative Sane.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I just want to say that Representante Cantante, should he keep his day job? Representative Sainer? He's actually pretty good. He's actually pretty good. I performed with him in the Gridiron Club, so he probably would whip all of us. But I just want to mention real quick something another founding father said. And John Adams said, remember, democracy never lasts long. It soon wastes, exhausts, and murders itself. There was never a democracy yet that did not commit suicide. And in a democracy, the majority rules either directly or through its elected representatives. We are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. And that's important when you're considering the Electoral College. When President Trump won in 2016, I started receiving emails, mostly from our conservative meccas of Boulder and Denver, that it's not fair that Hillary Clinton should have won, and we need to get rid of that Electoral College. Let me remind you, one of the reasons the Electoral College was put in place is because our founders feared the tyranny of the majority. In the Electoral College, the small states also have a say. Let me remind you that George Bush won because he was able to flip a reliably safe Democratic state of West Virginia. Democrats assumed it was safe, they ignored it, and we got a Republican president. In the Electoral College, you'll never know what a battleground state truly is. And so we'll have campaigns in all states. And it's at a candidate's peril to ignore one. Colorado will not be a battleground state forever. However, it's worthy to point out the states that have joined this particular compact are all deeply blue. That should tell us something about the character of what is happening here, especially when you consider that some of our sponsors of this bill have said it's constitutional. Except we need to consider the whole Constitution, since there are amendments to the Constitution, including the 12th Amendment. We are a constitutional republic, and it will be a breach of public trust to convert the electors of Colorado into the agents of California. There is a reason that the proponents brought this particular bill to this particular body at this particular time. It doesn't end run around how we amend the Constitution of the United States. It won't pass muster there at a constitutional amendments convention. I'm fairly sure the voters of this state, because I've heard from Democrats and Republicans, would not vote for this if it was a referendum. And since there's a majority in the House and Senate and in the governorship, this is an exercise of the tyranny in the majority. This will not pass constitutional muster, and we all know it. I urge a no vote on this bill, but I predictably, the majority will rule today, and it will pass. Thank you.
Representative Geithner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I won't belabor a lot of the points that my colleagues have made. I just wanted to address two issues that we heard yesterday. And one of them was that folks like Newt Gingrich support this. I wasn't elected to represent Newt Gingrich. I was elected to represent the folks of House District 19. And I can tell you that the overwhelming response, specifically from House District 19, is that they don't support the popular vote. So I'll be a no. And there seemed to be some sort of reassurance that was offered to us by almost punting that if we vote yes on Senate Bill 42 today, that it doesn't really have an impact yet. Well, because we're not quite at the 270. Folks, this vote today has every bit of the impact on the residents of Colorado, whether it goes into effect in 2020 or not. They're watching, they're frustrated, they're angry that this is actually before us. And so I'll be a no. I encourage you to represent the members of your district and not folks on a website that don't even live in Colorado. Please vote no on 42.
Representative Sirota. And Representative Arndt.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I won't belabor this either. We've had a lot of debate. I just want to sound like a broken record again and say that as representatives of our republic, we are here to do our job. We are here to fulfill our constitutional duty as a state legislature to determine how we will appoint our electors in the Electoral College. This bill has so much potential to engage so many more people in this country and the state of Colorado in our electoral process. I don't know about you, but in my time knocking doors and working so hard to engage people in our governmental processes, I hear time and again, my vote doesn't count. My vote doesn't count. And I think that there are a lot of reasons people have out there for believing that their vote doesn't count. And our current system is one of those good reasons. And this bill has the potential to change that, to help people believe that their vote matters, whether you are an urban voter, a suburban voter, a rural voter, a Republican, a Democrat, or someone from another party. Through this bill, Every vote counts equally. I urge an aye vote.
Representative Carver.
Members, I was not going to speak, but respectfully, this bill is the epitome of the message to Colorado voters that your vote doesn't count. Let's be crystal clear on what this bill does. If the Colorado voters in a presidential election choose candidate A by a majority vote, what this bill says is if the national popular vote isn't for candidate A, it's for the opponent, candidate B, that the Colorado vote is disregarded, is ignored, is negated, because this bill will require that our electoral votes go to candidate B, the national popular vote candidate, and we totally disregard and ignore the decision of Colorado voters in the presidential election. That's what this bill does. I urge a no vote.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 42 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please vote. Oh, Representative Melton and Representative Pelton. I have my own rhyme, and it goes like this. Republicans are red, Democrats are blue. I see a fine in the making. How about you? Please close the machine. With 34 aye votes, 29 no votes, 1 excused, and 1 vacant, Senate Bill 42 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 39.
Senate Bill 39 by Senator Story and Sensinger, House Representatives Michelson Janae, concerning allowing interdistrict transportation to students only by adjacent school districts subject to the school district's mutual consent.
Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 39 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 39 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please vote. Representative Landgraf. Please close the machine. With 42 aye votes, 21 no votes, 1 excused, and 1 vacant, Senate Bill 39 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. That brings us to Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over the balance of the calendar until Friday, February 22nd.
Seeing no objection, the balance of the calendar will be laid over till Friday, February 22nd. guess I should. Announcements and introductions. Representative Singer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Once again, Children's Caucus meeting today at noon up in the Senate committee rooms. We hope to see you there with Representative Landgraf and myself. She's just waving because she's afraid about what I might rhyme about again. But we will see you up there. All the questions you had about child welfare and more, feel free to ask them. The experts will be there and will give you the real truth about what's going on. And we look forward to seeing you there at noon.
Representative Esgar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And earlier I announced Leadership Pueblo. I didn't realize we had split into two groups, so the new group of Leadership Pueblo is now back with us here in the gallery somewhere. There they are. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you later.
Representative Mullica.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to welcome and let you know that there's a lunch that's going to be happening in the West Foyer today with the Colorado Children's Immunization Coalition and the Colorado Parents for Vaccinated Communities.
Any other announcements or introductions? Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the House stand in recess until later today.
Seeing no objection, the House will be in recess till later today.